What will health bring to me in the workplace? So I've just got three main points of what health will actually bring to you in a work environment, so in a corporate environment. I work with people, probably 95% of the people who come to me work in a kind of corporate environment in an office space or a large business. They're varied, so most of the clients that come to me are people maybe CEOs of businesses or high up in the workplace. And with that, they obviously have to be kind of high performing. Every day needs to be high performing to a certain extent. Maybe not every single day, but a lot more than a normal kind of employee would be. So this one goes out to people who obviously aspire to be at a higher level, and also people who are at a higher level and maybe struggle to stick to their jobs, or for example maybe they are lacking in energy and they're not performing to what they should be. And a lot of people that do that don't realise, they think it's the stress of the job and it's because they've been promoted and that's why they've got more workload. And I personally feel like a lot of the time, and from my experience, and I've worked with thousands of people over the time of personal training, that over the period of that time people feel that when they obviously, as I said, get more jobs to do, they get more tired, which in my opinion is not the case. You'd be more inspired, if anything, when people get older, they're having like a long period of time where they'll be not eating as well, they'll be drinking more, they won't maybe have other factors, maybe family factors like kids and things, where they get more stressed. And again, the stress is only based around the person who's actually having the stress. So it's something that can be avoided if someone puts in place things that are important to them. So for example, eating better, sleeping on time, things that people think is out of their grasp or out of their control, when it's not. So people get more stressed. It's like a negative spiral. So people get more stressed because they aren't sleeping on time and they aren't doing these things, so it gets worse and worse. But to go to my first point, you will dress to impress. That is a point for me, is when you're healthier and you feel better about yourself, what you'll realise is you'll carry yourself in a better way. So you'll keep your chest up. You'll feel more confident going into meetings. You'll feel more confident going into rooms. You'll have other subjects to talk about because you're not just focused on work. So you may be talking about other subjects such as gym, such as health, and that gives you other things to talk about. So that's from my experience in environments like that, when people have that health, they will carry themselves in a better manner, and you will buy better clothes. Even though it says dress to impress, you will buy better clothes. You'll buy things that you maybe look better and you'll feel better. So that's really, really important as well, to make sure that you are obviously looking better, because you might think that, oh, okay, I'm putting on my shirt, my tie, but when you get into a certain fitness, like you notice when people, like say for example, went over summer and you've not seen them for 6 months, and then they come back and they've lost all this weight, they always get new clothes, they're always carrying themselves in a better way. And that's probably one of the most important things that you can probably put in there, because if you're carrying yourself better, you're going to be already first meeting, its first situation with a client or anything like that, you're going to be in a better situation. They're going to be listening to what you're saying more. You'll be more direct with what you're saying. So that, for me, is one of the most important parts of the health aspect, is you'll dress better, you'll feel better, you'll carry yourself better. Number 2, sharper in meetings. So it kind of ties in with number 1 to a certain extent. You've got your sharper meetings. If you're healthier, if you're drinking more water, for a start, like let's just break it down into this one thing, drinking more water, just to make it simple, is if you're drinking more water, your brain's going to function much better. Simple as that. It literally is nothing else to it. Like if you drink enough water and stop saying, oh, I have no time, I'm stressed, blah blah blah, you'll stop being so stressed and you'll actually fix the issue that you're trying to fix. That's like the old saying of sleeping on something. You wake up on something, you actually have new ideas because you've rested. It's you think that you're working. People they say this silly thing like, oh, how much time have you put in? Like, it's not about the amount of time you put into something, it's also how efficient you are. You know, there's people all over the world, like Warren Buffett, for example. He reads 8 hours a day. Like, he's one of the richest people in the world. He reads 8 hours a day because he's efficient with his time, and he'll make only a few decisions in a year, but on the other time he's just doing things that he enjoys, he reads and things like that, which for him keeps his brain at a really high efficiency. So that's something I would definitely push for people. Go that extra mile. So in a work environment, again, people just do their tasks or their job, and that's fine. Like if you're an employee and you just want to do what the owner or the CEO tells you what to do, then that's fine, or whoever's at the head of you or whatever. Then that's fine that you can do that. You can make sure that you just follow the task given. But if you're trying to really push somewhere and you're trying to get better at something and progress in something, then you're going to have to go that extra mile. Like you're going to have to go that extra 2 or 3 miles to be able to get to that role, especially in, again, a corporate environment where there's a lot of competition. So you're going to have to be sharper than your peers. And with that, what I'm saying is, if you're healthier, then you're going to have to go that extra mile. And as I said, what I mean by that is you'll come up with new ideas, you'll come up with things that people wouldn't have thought of, and be like, oh, hold on, actually, I want to reconstruct that, I want to structure that differently. And that's what people are looking for to get to that next higher level. And that's what I've noticed as well with people when they're coming in to me for health, in terms of health, they're coming into me and they're feeling much better about themselves. I've got a few clients, not naming names, who've started with me and they've not had much money. And I'm not saying that because they trained with me, that's the only reason they've got to where they are, but that's definitely a factor. Like they are more fit, they don't have a belly on them anymore, so they'll buy a tailored suit and they'll feel more confident. And when someone has a tailored suit, again, it's a positive snowball. They'll feel better, they'll carry themselves better, they'll have better conversations, they'll have more positive conversations, people want to be around them. It's just for me, it's one of the main things that it confuses me. I'm like, why don't people just understand that if your goal is making more money, or your goal is to get higher on the corporate ladder, all you need to do is be healthier. And if you be healthier, you'll get promoted. You'll realise that your brain works at a higher rate. You'll have better conversations, as opposed to just being like, no, I'm just going to work, I don't have time to do this. And so you're not making any positive health decisions, you're not progressing health-wise, and you're not progressing corporate-wise. Like all the top CEOs of the world are the ones who are up at the top, billionaires of the world are all getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and training. You don't need to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and train, but what you need to do is put a schedule together to figure out how you go that extra mile, and then make sure that your health benefits, so that you are able to then progress in what you're doing. So I hope those 3 small subjects were helpful for you. Again, when I speak from a lot of the stuff, it's just from from experience. I read a lot. Some of the journals that I read will be usually the Wall Street Journal that I had read today about corporate efficiency, and it's quite standard as most people would see on the they would presume, they would realise that corporate like studies are obvious. Like if I said if the corporate health is better, then you're more efficient in work, then people would be like, yeah, that's obvious. And a lot of studies obviously show that to a higher rate, like 25% better rate. And I feel that that's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward study, so I don't want to bore you with, this Wall Street Journal says 25%, it's 25% better. But that's the studies that I do read, and you can check them all online about studies such as just simple Google search, such as efficiency in the workplace with healthier employees. And there's loads of studies to show you that is obviously you got a far better rate of things. And for people who own businesses, they realise that if they are someone wanting to invest in corporate training or making sure that their staff are healthier, or just make sure that, like Emirates, for example, Emirates Airline, they don't let their staff get too far overweight, and I actually agree with that. I think that's a really good thing, because then it stops people from getting unhealthy. There's a good correlation between weight and unhealthiness. Obviously, if someone's just muscular, there needs to be regulated there. But in terms of how people feel and how like Emirates, for example, have done that, I think that's good, and I think all corporates should do that. I think all corporates should have something where they have a regulation with their staff and their health, because